So the next speakers, there's two of them. They are active school counselors in Anglophone East. We have Marie and Krista coming up to give us a talk about eco-anxiety. I'm just going to point out that there's a few things on the table for you to fill out. There's this little sheet from Carl. There's also little funny forms that are prompting you to ask questions. This is for a panel session later on. Feel free to fill them out at any point. It can be a question about anything that is on the to do with the piece of paper itself, or another question in general. But we'll talk more about that later. So, Krista and Marie, I'm so excited to have two actual counselors that have been also really active in the Sackville region and Tentermore region, giving talks on eco-anxiety and how to deal with climate stress and mental health of all kinds. I'm really excited to hear what they're going to have to say.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for coming today, and thank you for a lot of you who traveled quite a distance. Can you guys hear me okay? I noticed that on the participant list there were a lot of you coming from all areas of the province, and one from Halifax. I didn't know that, so thanks for that. So my name is Krista Royama, and I am a school counselor with Anglophone East School District, as is Marie, but I'll be here to speak. And Marie and I are co-founders and counseling therapists of a local counseling service here in Sackville called Community Counselling and Consulting.
We both taught in the school system as classroom teachers for over a decade each. And then, in all honesty, we both kind of fell into this realization that perhaps we weren't getting to the curriculum as much as necessary. And in turn, instead, we were kind of focused on the mental health of our students. We were becoming, in the moment counselors and felt really unprepared for the role of a teacher, as we know that that's changing these days. So we both went back to school, became school counselors instead, and then realized that in our local community there are just not enough resources for mental health, so we opened up a private practice, Iris, and we started targeting the mental health of our local territorial area youth, but it's grown so much more than just that. We're very busy, and a lovely partnership that we started up, I would say, about a year ago now. It's with Amanda Martin at EOS Eco Energy. We've been partnering with them to offer workshops on eco-anxiety and climate change stress in the area. And they're really fluid. It's been really interesting. We started the first one and then recognized halfway through that we were in the middle of a group counseling session. Like a grief counseling session, really. So everyone changes depending on the audience, so know your audience. So we work with youth, we work with adults, we work with professionals who deal directly with climate change every day. We've done some lovely partnerships before falling, and we've just been really busy. But I also wanted to start by saying, when we do these workshops, and today too, we're here as facilitators, but we're also very much here as participants. Yeah. And it is a very fluid, ever-changing topic, and so we try to meet the ever-changing needs too.
Yeah, typically when we do a climate change /stress workshop, we typically do it in a circle so that we're all sitting in a circle, and it gives everybody a chance to speak because we keep it limited to like about 10 or 12 people, and people tend to feel a bit more personal and be willing to share. But as you can see, this is a larger audience today. So instead of setting it up that way, we sort of readjusted how we would deliver a workshop on climate change and stress. And so what we'd like to do right now is start by turning to someone in your circle and sharing something with one another that you did for self-care, say in the past 24 hours, and something that you've done for community care.
So community care, if you're not quite familiar with that term, it's the idea that you've participated in your community to build yourself up and to hold your community up too. So typically in a larger circle we would go around and introduce ourselves and share something that we've done for self-care and community care, but within this dynamic, maybe if you could do that at your table, so introduce yourself and one way that you've recently practiced self-care and community care.
Thanks. Thank you.
And we're all going to ask the answers 5, 4, guilt inducing part where I don't want to cut off really great conversations that I know are happening. So sorry about that. And I also want to acknowledge too that eco-anxiety is really difficult, it's really challenging, and just sort of a disclaimer, if you're trying to figure out how it's impacting you, the kind of general rule with anxiety is that if it's getting in the way of your everyday functioning, it's at that moment that you definitely need to reach out for help. And so we can talk about different ways to reach out for help, and coming here and talking together is a lovely way of doing that. But just sort of as a general, yeah, if it's getting in the way of your everyday functioning, it's definitely time to look for support.
So at this point, we'll open up the floor to anyone who would like to share what compelled you to come today. If you would be willing to be open to sharing that, that would be great.
And I love the vulnerability. It's not always comfortable to talk about what compels us to come here, so thank you so much.
So I lost my son for suicide a year and a half ago, and I deal with a lot of his friends, a lot of youth, every single night. And some of them have struggles of their own from different reasons, but in this summer I started a youth group, and it's a fantastic group, but also those children are struggling, like not all of them are friends of my son's, and they are connecting me all the time to the eco-anxiety. And so I deal with tens of children every night, and they're all fantastic, but I kind of need guidance and ideas how to help these children, and that's why I'm here. And yeah, it's a bigger problem than probably most of the people even realize. Most of them don't want to share that with their parents, but it is there. It should be taught in the schools, mandatory.
Thanks for sharing.
Thank you for sharing. Maybe we can talk afterwards too. And Chris and I as educators, there's nothing worse than coming to a professional learning opportunity and leaving empty-handed. So we did put together some resources for everybody to take home if you're interested, and maybe you can use those. Maybe you'll find out what
And we have had like one with the youth group, one we have had like one workshop around eco-anxiety, and we are trying to get funding for another one. So it is definitely needed, and the youth are all the time asking about it. So hopefully we get some funding or some professionals to help us. So I'm very passionate about this. It's wonderful.
We have noticed an uptake in just the clients that we work with too, coming in who already struggle with mental health, and suddenly it's very much focused on anxiety. So what you're seeing, I think, is echoed in our experiences too, and in the school system too. And I work in an elementary school, and it's definitely a hot topic. So
one thing that might be helpful in the education system is to hold environmental clubs. That even if you're just the one that's facilitating and let the youth lead the way with that, that would be one way to kind of feel that you're empowering them and they're taking action to make that.
And that's what I'm doing right now. So our youth club is youth-led, but I do realize that there's a deeper issue there. Like I get these personal messages during the nighttime, and like you said, when it's coming to every day, that they think about it every day, they need help, but unfortunately in New Brunswick there's not too much help. Like the mental health system is so overloaded that they know they need help, but there's no help for them. So I think all of the adults do need to push more for funding for mental health and to find these ways how can we all help them.
And one way to help diminish some of that fear that's associated with eco-anxiety is to talk about it. So just being open to conversation with them is very helpful. Yeah.
would anybody else like to share?
I may share out loud too, like maybe my words won't be used. I'm sorry. I'm really happy to be here. I wasn't sure if I was supposed to talk about this precise workshop, but the fact that we came here today, I was was first of all to meet people. You know, like I really like what Quinn presented as an action and hope, because when we come together, we relate, we meet people, and then we get to share. Well, for me, sharing is inspiring. And inspiring is also actions and precise actions, and it's hope also. So being here, I find it collects people together. I really truly believe in self-determination theory. Been involved in a lot of projects as in being on the right track with the wellness department in New Brunswick, and we came up with this document to support self-determination. But all this movement right now is that we're not just talking about it, we're in action. And I really value what Quinn said, because action is hope. So, like we had a visit. We visited a school in BC last April, and hear this: it's a public school, but it's 100% outside. It's an environmental school. It's called Maple Ridge. It really is. I have learned about it with Michelle. And for me, being a grandma, a teacher, I've been working at the school district as a curriculum specialist for 18 years, science and technology subjects. But for me, that school kind of was like, wow, a school outside. Would you believe they have 200 kids waiting to attend that school? Well, Maple Ridge is 45 minutes away from Vancouver. What I want to bring in is that, someone started with this great idea about place-based learning is important. Do our kids learn about the space that's around their school, in their community? When you learn about something, you get to cherish it, and you choose to support it, respect it, be voice, offer choices, be part of a community that kind of gets together. But the visit there, I would wish that so many people would come with Michelle and I when we visit again, because they were inspiring. Their method, like the pedagogy, was an environmental pedagogy. It was connected to the environment. The kids were in projects, developing skills that they're going to be soon great leaders for change, like Quinn is, and so many other kids in our schools. So anyways, today we may not have a chance to present because we have a kind of a little video of our visit. It's just that there are out here in every table here initiatives happening that we don't know about. And when we come to these meetings or conferences, and I like the way that we do this workshop because we get to talk, then we kind of get inspired by ideas and say, oh, I'd like to meet with this person because we're building capacity. And I think this is what we all need, is to build capacity, support each other, show kids that there is hope. And there are areas where we can actually have them be in action right away. Let's not wait. Like all the curriculums will take time. Things will not change tomorrow, but actions can be done today. So I'm here for that. Thank you for having us here.
Thank you.
I love too that you're mentioning the idea of celebrating what other people are doing. I find at the end of this, we'll encourage you to have an action item or a takeaway. And for me, I'm always inspired, and that's always where I go to. I'm going to actively celebrate all the amazing participatory steps that happen around us in the school system and beyond. So thank you.
Marie.
There's one right there. There you go.
I'm not accustomed to mics, so.
I'm in drama, so you usually have to learn to project your voice.
The original meaning of health means unity. So when you take mental health, it's not something separate from your social health, your economic health, your living conditions, your family. So what's making me nervous nowadays about the discourse around and the narratives around mental health, that it's something separate from everything else. And really it's not. But if you look up the original meaning of health, that meant unity. So hopefully people can think, and it's like our self-care and our community care are interrelated. I mean, I'm here because I volunteer for the Atlantic Wildlife Institute. I had to find something to do in my old age. But I'm helping out, but I'm helping myself. So we're so interrelated. If we only could realize how tightly that is, and so different. Like I would think, young children today are even, the gender, the sexuality, all these things, even within, say, women, we're more different than we are from another gender. So that's my lecture for today.
Thank you very much. We've got one over here.
I came here today because I feel like as an organization, we're working in the schools, like investing all of our heads down, and we're all committed to such a powerful cause, and we're working every day with students or teachers or whoever it is, and sometimes it's great to look up and see who's out there in the community to help amplify other voices and learn from each other's work so that we can all move this mission forward of action on climate change. It's so important, I think, to everyone in the room. I think probably most of us are here because we've seen an issue or a problem, or we want to face a challenge or see things from a new light. So I came here to talk to people and really get to know what they were doing and see what we can do together, hopefully to keep moving forward with all of our missions in the school system.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else?
Well, I think we should probably, we're short on time, so we should probably try to incorporate some of what we wanted to share today.
Thank you so much, though, for everyone for sharing. And I find it inspiring as well to hear why you are here today.
So we wanted to add a little psychoeducational piece to, I guess, the workshop that we're running today. Just kind of a brief what is anxiety and then how that connects with eco-anxiety. So this is, and we're often in the schools talking about this too. So this, that being a brain. So this is a lovely image that we use with students to get them to sort of understand what we're talking about. So this is what your brain looks like when you're calm and ready and relaxed and able to make good decisions. And so when we think of the brain, there are three key parts related to anxiety. So this is what your brain is like: calm, settled, clear, when you're using your PFC, your prefrontal cortex, which is a key, wonderful, necessary part of your brain to use. It helps you make good decisions, it helps you be like a fully functional aware person. What happens with anxiety is that your PFC kind of gets hijacked by your amygdala. So not so clear anymore, things get stirred up. It's that sort of stormy comparison that we can make with students to have that understanding impact. So our amygdala, historically, is a wonderful piece of our brain. It's there for a reason. It's what keeps us safe and protected. I always refer to it with youth as, it's like your brain ninja. It's always looking for danger and always trying to keep you safe. What happens with anxiety, though, is that it hijacks your ability to make those calm, logical decisions that you need to use with your PFC. Another piece of anxiety is your hippocampus, which is where you store memories. And the tricky piece with anxiety is that you're storing memories with emotion. So when you have anxious moments, you start to build up a memory, emotional recall that they're negative, right? So if you think, for example, when I was younger, I hated public speaking. So my first time public speaking, it was a disaster. And so I started to emotionally connect public speaking as a negative thing. So when we talked about anxiety, what we usually do as counselors is get students and youth and clients to understand ways to cope and calm and settle, to get the brain to settle back into PFC mode instead of amygdala mode. The way that this connects with eco-anxiety is, I know we all know about Greta, we talked about it today. She talks about, she has a sentence that she says, I want you to panic, right? And what she's talking about, I don't even know if she knows it, but she's talking about your amygdala. She's talking about that panic, fight or flight, reactionary mode. And so usually as counselors, what our role is to get you to identify when your amygdala is taking over and then calm and settle. But what we've noticed with eco-anxiety is that really, you need to be aware, you need to marinate in that anger, right? You need to marinate in that worry, that concern, that panic, and then turn that into action. So how do you harness that? So we can teach students calming strategies to get through those really anxious moments, but what we need to do as a community is to teach them action and teach them hope and teach them community building. Yeah.
So a few resources, we won't go through them all with you, but just a few based on our conversation today that I think might be helpful, is recognizing symptoms of stress. So we talked about when anxiety starts to affect you on a daily basis in everyday tasks. That's when it becomes an issue and you probably need to reach out for some kind of help. for that. So recognizing symptoms of stress. A lot of us only go with physical symptoms of stress. You know, we I get tense, or I always get headaches, and then I know I'm stressed. But there's also behavioral symptoms of stress, as well as yes, the physical, but also emotional. So just to give you a few examples, like physical, of course, as I mentioned, like muscle tenseness or headaches or what have you. Emotional could be like restlessness, anxiety, increased irritability when we're not feeling at our best, right? And then behavioral could be like social withdrawal or nail biting or something like that. Okay, so this is really, I think, a good psychoeducational piece for students or youth to understand, and adults to understand how stress affects their body, because that is very unique to each and every one of us as well, right? How stress affects us. Another piece of resource that we have is a self-care assessment that you would do with your students or whoever it is that you work with.
Or yourself.
I really like this one, and I think this is really important, circle of control, because so much of today's theme is based on exactly that. What can versus can't I control? And that's a really important thing to talk about, and also with like self-reflect, because we tend to spend a lot of time and energy worrying about the things that, if we really thought about it, we don't have control over. So in the case of eco-anxiety and climate change, it's systemic stuff. We don't really have that control on an individual level, but we can absolutely do something about it. And that's that whole piece that we speak of and we've heard about today, right?
Another way that connects to is what Megan sort of spoke to earlier of how do you handle those conversations that maybe you're not going to have impact with in that moment, somebody who's maybe not thinking the same way as you are with climate change and eco-anxiety. So when you think of what you can and cannot control, like you can control how you let that emotionally impact you, right? You can control not how they react, but you can control how you react to that, right? For your own mental health.
And then likewise, circle of support. So getting people to reflect on who in their life do they have that they can reach out to talk to, or just to kind of be there to be a sort of a listening ear, for that's important too. Another kind of fun thing is a coping strategies challenge that we have together here. So did you want to speak to that?
I would love to, but we're out of time. So maybe we will just hand them out and you can dig through them. And we have so much more to share, so if you ever wanted to come and speak with us over lunch or anything like that, feel free. We work in the schools passionately, and we also are parents whose children participate in the strikes for many months now. So we're here as participants and as facilitators. And we have, thank you Amanda, we have upcoming another workshop coming up. When is the date of it?
Here in Stackpole, so we've got limited spaces, but if anyone would like to join in for more of this kind of feel, this workshop is specifically for people who work in the environment field. So whether you're a teacher, a nonprofit, environmentalist, activist, we're going to focus on the issues that we kind of deal with. So that's the 18th of November.
Thank you, Amanda. And I just thought too, I wanted to add, so we often talk about PTSD, which I think most of us are familiar with, but when you're thinking about eco-anxiety, please don't forget that aspect of PTS growth, right? And so by listening to that amygdala, to kind of marinating in that panic, we need to harness that and turn that into growth. And that's when I'm so inspired by talking with Quinn and seeing all the action and the participation in community building that is happening through that really utterly individual moment, right? Thank you so much for having us.